But thank you to everyone who's been popping minis in boxes and in capsules. You've made quite a dent in here. And I think I'm just near the threshold of restocking too, so this is that moment of, you know, strike if it's hot, otherwise it's going to get refilled. Alright. Here's our random character creator. And it so happens we have a blank character sheet. So Jam Jam, you stopped by just in time. We are going to start rolling some numbers. Oh, there's some awesome pulls tonight. Absolutely, Refry. And thank you for having that cheerful spirit. And, yeah, there you go. You are the stream boss. However, your life is flashing before your eyes. It looks like someone wants to take the throne from you here, Delcorin. Can you hold out? In that case, who's the evil one? Alright, let's roll. Do we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class character? 97. We have a multi-classed... This is going to be interesting. I was kind of hoping for this, but you know what? We already showed off the capstone here for the 17 levels of Monk with Arma Teal that we made in the last segment. And now... Ooh, we're going to get to have some fun. In fact, this is our workshop. What do you want to see? Do you want me to build a monk barbarian using both of the Unearthed Arcana? Both of the Unearthed Arcana classes? That's speed, though, by the way. Or would you like me to roll for a random multi-class? We'll still make something fun, Jorian. Do we want to make a random, a super Unearthed Arcana? Roll random. Cold Spark says random too. Jorian, Shukan. Okay. Alright, so we are going to come down here. Well, almost. No, we're not going to roll that just yet. I'm going to re-roll the percentile and find out if we have a female character or a male character. 76, we have a male character. And the race is going to be a... I rolled a 9, a Tiefling. And I'm gonna roll a d10 again. Odds. We favor our human descent more. Similar to that half-elf. Very interesting. So, now, that favoring one side or the other, that's more of a... That's why there's this M. Morgs option in the character builder. Because it's not really stated in the player's handbook, though for purposes of random character creation, we use it as a tiebreaker and an inspiration. So favoring the human descent could be genetic. Maybe this tiefling looks more human. Smaller horns, maybe doesn't have 6 fingers per hand, has pupils, stuff like that. So we have a male tiefling who favors his human side, culturally, genetically, whatever. And now I'm going to roll on the alignment. I'm going to do the balanced odds. We rolled 29, a chaotic good. Oh, I got to bring this over some here. Chaotic good. We are going to generate a 17. Well, you know what? Yeah, the other ones were 17. So this one won't get the capstone, but we're also gonna bring up our barbarians, by the way, to level 17. So that way when we do a party comparison, it's right across the line. Alright, so a level 17 character. Now I'm gonna roll a percentile to find out if we're gonna replace any of our stat bumps with feats. Nope, we're gonna take all stat bumps. Now, what is the background of this character? Looking at the player's handbook only, we're going to generate an 18-sided die and roll it. 3. A criminal. We have another criminal. This story, everyone, is going to write itself, I swear. And now a criminal has a particular crime they're known for. I'm going to roll a d8. Number 1. Let's find... I mean, we'll find out in the background, but that's our placeholder. By the way, since we're here, let's roll our personality traits. 1 and 8. And then our ideal bond and flaw. 2, 4, 4. There we go. 2, 4, 4. Now we can roll the D12. Though technically if we get monk, so it's 11 choices. Though, let's find out what our multi-class is going to be. So we're going to have an astral monk slash... What else? Are you ready? Here we go. So we're not looking for a 6. A 6 is a reroll. And we rolled a 6. So... We're going to hit this D12. And we're not wanting a 6. Here we go. 12. A wizard. An astral monk wizard. And now, what kind of wizard? I'm going to roll a D8, and we're going to figure out which school of magic. Seven. 7 is necromancy. Hey, we actually can deal necrotic damage with our astral arms. So we have an astral monk necromancer. Now the question is, how would we want to divvy up the levels? I'm going to take a quick sneak peek. I want monk to be dominant or tied. Well, it can't be tied. We have an odd number that we're going to be generating to here. So really, the highest that we could take this then would be 8. So I reckon we could go, if we want to go 8 levels, we can go 8 levels. But if we mix that, when do we get our 11th level? We do get Awakening of the Astral Self. So if we mix 11 levels of Monk with 6 levels of Necromancer, we would get a subclass for each at that point. Yeah, go ahead, Cake Boss. Cold Spark, I believe there are. The Artificer, arguably, it's not a wizard, but it's wizardly. Just more of a techie alchemist. Oh, interesting technique, Donnie. And by the way, so you said an astral specialist, Jorian. You kind of got that because astral projection is necromancy. If I recall correctly. Let's take a look real quick. Yes. Now, he'll never get to learn that because it's a 9th level spell. But astral projection is a necromancy spell. Alright, so we're going to do Monk 11, Wizard 6. Alright, what else do we need? We don't have any class features. And, oh, we're going to come down here and find Tieflings. And... oh, I must have passed by it. You know what? I'm just going to type in Tiefling. The Infernal Standard Tiefling. And now watch as the items change. Ba-ba-ba-dum. All right, a percentile to find out where in this character's life we're meeting him. We rolled a 48, so we have an adult tiefling, and so that's 18 plus 1d29 years. So a 29-sided die plus 18, and roll it. We have a 27-year-old adult tiefling. Tieflings start at 4 feet 9 inches tall. We're going to roll 2d8 and add that to his height. 13. So he is 5'10". 5 feet, 10 inches tall. We're going to take that same 13 that we rolled and multiply it by 2d4, by 4. So we are going to add 52 pounds to the base weight of 110. So 162 pounds. 5'10", 162 pounds, 27-year-old adult male tiefling. Yes, he favors his human side culturally, linguistically, behaviorally, genetically. Mazamune, welcome back. It's good to see you. Oh yeah, keep that idea in mind then, Jorian, as we continue to build the character. Absolutely. All right, we do not need the character builder any longer. If any of you are playing at home, please get out your player's handbooks. Yeah, you thought school was over? You're back in school. We are going to go to Chapter 4, and we're going to begin building the character with the background. In my personal opinion, this is the best way to build your character, because it gives your character first, not just stats. This randomizer is not publicly available, Mazamune. However, the basis for it is available to download as a spreadsheet as a pinned message on our Discord in Table Talk. Pneumonica is also low-key flexing on us, who are coming to the hobby late, huh? All right, I get it. That's fine. You earned it, Pneumonica. We get proficiency in Deception and Stealth. One type of gaming set. We get a proficiency and Thieves' Tools. Very good. Equipment. A crowbar. And I said this. I say this whenever we make a criminal. You know how people name their swords or their main weapon? For a criminal, I think the criminal would name their crowbar, because it's an indispensable tool. So as we make the character, if you have a suggestion for the name of our character's crowbar, you're welcome to offer it here. We should probably discover a little bit more about the character first, but keep that in mind. I know, Jam. I would like to as well. We've been busy reviewing all the stuff that's come out, and I also got to finish Secret of Mana as well. Gaming set, Thieves' Tools, crowbar, dark common clothes, and a belt pouch with 15 gold. Neo Realms, thank you. Thank you, thank you. The free man. Now, our criminal specialty was, or is, a blackmailer. We were just talking. Oh my gosh. Everyone, the story writes itself. Hello, 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 hello. We were just talking about Arma, possibly being blackmailed. Do we have this chaotic good sleeper agent in with the group that Arma is also rolling in order to try and get more dirt on her as she's making this power play? A crowbar named Multi-Tool. Multi-Tool. Crowbar's a can opener? It certainly is. The murder stick also says Neo Realms. So, someone who blackmails, huh? Well, that could affect our decision for skills and other things. There could, at the same time, Jorian, I would say that there doesn't have to be a dozen more. These are prompts that you don't have to take. You don't have to take them purely for what is presented. You can use this as inspiration and think about 4 other options. You know, what kind of a blackmailer, or what kind of a person? Do we have more of a social blackmailer or a physical blackmailer? You know, things like that. So we might say that more of a physical one would be an eavesdropper. Someone with physical stats that they can hang outside windows and listen really well to conversations, and that could be a blackmailer. But so too could someone in the middle of a court who very subtly is gathering information while presenting an excellent face. And so we could call that criminal to be an extorter, an extortionist. I'm sorry, an extortionist. And so when it comes down to it, I think these are solid prompts that we can branch from, but we don't have to say there's only 8 criminals that exist in the entire world. Yeah, in fact, you could be a blackmailer that just exclusively goes after nobility, religious officials, public officials, or just anyone you can get dirt on, because who knows when you need to call in a favor later, right? Black Wolf, why are you not asleep? What? You're a grown adult. Go to sleep whenever you want. All right. So we have this background feature of a criminal contact. And bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Forget about it. This immediately inserts 1 or more NPCs into your world as the dungeon master, who receives this paper from the player who says, I love this character, I want to play this character. And you as the DM say, okay, you're giving me content to run for you that you're going to pay attention to, that you're going to savor and enjoy. Sure. He's sleep chatting, says Big Sam. And you know what? This could even be statted out as an NPC or whatnot. In fact, I don't know. Maybe we can continue this workshop into next week. I'll find out though what is upcoming and some other things that I have going on. But anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Criminal contact. Look, PHB. Read it. It's there. And as a DM note, instant world building for you. Now, what is our personality like? Our first personality trait is number 1. I always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. So, cautious? Paranoid, even? Someone who overthinks, kind of like what Black Wolf is doing right now. And personality trait number 8. I blow up at the slightest insult. So, someone, he feels very much under pressure. Now, blowing up doesn't mean that he just murders people who upset him. Though stomping off, making a scene, losing control, being irrational, could be a blow up in this sense. West Riverette says, one of my players missed the session 0, so the other players got drunk and miscast a resurrection scroll. So instead of raising the Dragon Slayer hero the town is named after, they got raised the cook's assistant, who was the first player's character. Well, a slaver, if you didn't want a purposeful slaver, a slaver could certainly be a fence, a smuggler for sure. Even a highway robber, because this person not only takes the goods on the wagons, but takes the people themselves. So there's nothing saying that these three people, or even the enforcer, someone who goes to collect a debt for a mob or someone else, might take people as payment. So automatically 4 of the 8 could very well be slavers if you want them to be. Maladroit Gamer, thank you very much for the follow and welcome aboard. Hey, oh, 4 thumbs up? Now, his ideal. I'm going to scoot this just a little bit over here so we can read. What is his ideal? Number 2. Freedom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. Yeah, thank you. Have you been lurking for a while, Maladroit? Yeah, someone call? Donnie Sorrow's here to enforce the boss's orders, huh? Don't ask him how he got the tears under his eye. Well, he's not, just because he's chaotic doesn't mean that he's just silly about it. Remember, in an alignment, a chaotic character is an impulsive character. And to that as well, they are impulsive more often than they're not, but chaotic characters do not necessarily lack control. Just because I am a chaotic character doesn't mean that I'm just gonna... You know, it's been 10 days since I've punched a random pigeon in the street. I'm gonna do it. You know, there's not a compelling nature that's baked into the alignment. Just like, you know, anything else. You know, a chaotic character doesn't have to go, oh, a squirrel! Oh, it's something shiny! And go over here, too. It simply means they're more impulsive. They can still be thoughtful. And in fact, in this case, we have a manifestation of this chaotic expression of the character. The alignment is an expression. It's your brain-to-mouth filter. He has wonderful thoughts. He's obviously competent and capable. Though, the way he speaks, maybe he tries to say too many words at one time, and it might sound like a stutter. Or he thinks about all these things because he is so intelligent that all of these ideas are competing at the same time, and maybe that's why he blows up at the slightest insult. And it doesn't even have to be an insult. And of course you ask, well, what's an insult to this character? An insult doesn't have to be a yo mama joke. You know, someone goes up, you know, yo mama so fat when she goes to the theater, she sits next to everyone. Sure, he might blow up at that, but what does this character take as an insult? Going to this character and saying, have you made up your mind yet? That could be an insult to his intelligence. And then he says, I've made up my mind 10 times in the last minute. Thank you. And I'm going to continue to do so until I find the best course of action for all of us. Yeah, corpses could be outside that role, Jorian, or he could see himself as freeing, if he's that type of necromancer, he could see himself as freeing that person from the chains of death, where they're locked away. You know, you have this ability to free people from this eternal eternal conviction of death. Oh, Donnie, frees him from the chains of death, raises slavers as his own servants, as Big Sam. But Maladroit, yeah, Maladroit, thank you for giving us a chance. Sometimes you see, look, who's this rando on Twitch running a workshop in D&D? I don't know. Like, are they into it? Am I going to fit in? Or, you know, are they just so involved? Then whatever. You know what? You gave us a chance. You sat down. You followed. You brought up. You said hi in chat. I very much appreciate that. And you're welcome to lurk. You can participate. You can tell stories. It's completely up to you. You're sitting at a table in a game store right now. All right, Donnie. Now, what is his bond to the world? Bonds are absolutely a Dungeon Master's best friend on character creation. Our bond is number 4. I will become the greatest thief that ever lived. And you say, well, hold on. We have a good character. Again, this goes back to the concept of alignment. How can a good person be the greatest thief ever? You're stealing. True. What is this character's definition of that thief? If you can steal from other thieves, one, is that morally superior, or at least not as morally gray? Or 2, if you can steal from a thief, does that make you the better thief? Or can you steal without ever stealing something yourself? Maybe besides a secret. Maybe not physically steal. Like, we're a blackmailer. So maybe to be the greatest thief, you steal by never stealing anything yourself. We have other people to do that for us. Or we only steal secrets and never physical goods. That could be our own code. And you say, hold on a moment. This is absolutely ridiculous. 2 out of 10. Unfollow, unsubscribe. I'm out of here. You're talking about a chaotic good character having a personal code of conduct. Yes. A chaotic evil character can donate 5 gold out of the goodness of their heart to a charity and not kick a puppy and burn down an orphanage on their way to do it. It's absolutely possible. And it can happen on even a regular basis. I hope not, Donnie. That's what I love about these prompts. Absolutely, Jorian. And lastly, our flaw. We are all flawed creatures, my friends. Yes, I'm talking to you. You're a flawed person. But you know what? So am I. So is everyone else here. And by imparting flaws onto our characters, we help make them more understandable. Redeemable, if you choose to pursue. They become more real. Now, oh, hold on a moment. How dare I talk about bringing reality into a fantasy game? That's a whole other conversation about making your D&D game more realistic. What I mean by that is an approachable character, an understandable character, a character that has flaws, that has weaknesses. Boring, in my opinion, boring D&D characters are the ones that have all 18s or all 20s. They have wombo combo items and features that make them immune to 5 types of damage, and they're perfect in everything. Those are boring characters. I sell comic books, and I have no problem selling, for example, a Superman comic. I have nothing against Superman, though there is a challenge, because when you have a character that is a god amongst men, that is invulnerable, and the invulnerability gets more convoluted constantly, it is a very difficult thing to create a very compelling character. Superman is absolutely iconic. There's nothing wrong with Superman comics. But can you relate to Superman as the reader? Can you relate to Superman as closely as you could relate to one of the X-Men? One of the Teen Titans? I know we're going back to DC. I don't know. DC kind of has more of that individual power spike character. Can you relate to Spider-Man more than you could with Superman? I would encourage you all. It's okay to have a weak character. It's okay to have a flawed character. And you know what? That might end up with you getting walloped in a bar. It might end up with you getting hit once or twice more in combat. But if you have an understanding dungeon master who wants to tell a tale with people who have flaws and explore them and overcome them, give your character a flaw. You know, don't min-max your flaw. You know, if your DM says, all right, take a background, you're like, whatever. Which one seems the least worst? And if you're looking at your flaw or you're looking at your character, your background especially, if you're looking at your background like they're mechanics that you're min-maxing, then I would urge you to please reconsider your characters and make your characters come to life otherwise. Now, if you're running just a kick in the door, kill all the monster dungeon because it's Saturday night with your friends and you're eating pizza and everyone is power gaming, which is fine. Power gaming, min-maxing, munchkinism is fine if everyone at the table wants that. Absolutely, 100%. But, you know, give it a chance. Have a weak character. His flaw is number 4. I have a tell that reveals when I'm lying. Well, we already established we're a thoughtful character, and so once we get that, you know, that twitch in the eye, that sneer, or our fingers get a little restless, there's a lot that we can do. And again, if you're like, sure, so DM, my toes wiggle when I lie. Are you wearing thick iron toe boots? Like thick leather iron toe boots? Yeah. But you're saying your tell is your toes wiggle when you lie. Yeah, totally. They wiggle every time. There's nothing I can do about it. Except wear thick leather iron toe boots. Yeah. What's wrong with that? It's a tell. That's what the book says. Big Sam and eye flick. Cracking knuckles. You know, we're a tiefling. Use that. Maybe we feel our horns. Maybe our eyes turn a different color. Whatever. We're tieflings. We're a supernatural race. Maybe our eyes have a flicker of, like, a spark of flame in them when we're lying. You know, it's a little bit of devilry kind of getting out. Have fun with it. Be absolutely creative. There's nothing wrong with the Monty Hall game. Yeah, good terminology, Maladroit. It's hard to make them stay entertaining in the long term. But yeah, you know what? If you just want to sit around and eat junk food and roll a bunch of dice and just, like, take on monster after monster after monster because it's the weekend, nothing can feel better in that regard, Maladroit. But yeah, in a long-term game, it's more difficult. Master Mage, good morning to you. Maybe the tail curls down between the legs? Exactly. And play into the character. Play into the tiefling. What makes you unique? Maybe your tiefling has 6 fingers. You look like an alien from the franchise. You have 6 fingers. And maybe your 6th finger curls in. Or, if we favor our human side, yet we're still born with 6 fingers? What if we normally have our 6th finger kind of like, you know, like tucked in, kind of like so it'd almost be like a second thumb. So we normally, to try and appear more human, we normally tuck in our 6th finger. But when we're lying, we forget to do that. And now all 6 of our fingers are showing. guess it'd be more like this. Yeah, Donnie, if it's contextually fine for the table, it's fine. I have nothing against min-maxers or min-maxing. You can do some awesome and creative stuff. It's just for whatever is being presented at your table. You had a D&D session yesterday. DM gave me my cursed sword back, and damn, that curse is a beast. What happens to it, Master Mage? Alright, so I have a tell that reveals when I'm lying. You know how much fun we're having talking about the character's flaw, and even how obvious we can make it? I'm enjoying this more than saying, well, I curl my toes under my thick boots that no one is ever going to see. A six-fingered finger waggle. You cannot comprehend the nature of these jazz hands. All right. So, that is our criminal. We have not talked about stats. There's no numbers in our abilities here. Not even our racial modifiers. We have not talked about stats at all. We have not talked about our class, or our classes, actually. We have not talked about our classes at all. Hey, Twist, thank you very much for that follow. And I would argue, at this point in time, we have a developed character. We understand the character of the character. We can make decisions as if we're that character, as if we're the pilot. We have created some backstory elements, a moral code. We've discussed this character's history and how this character manifests himself currently. We've brought in another thief or another thieves guild. We've created this blackmail, like this black book list of blackmail clientele. We've built a character and a world in which the character lives. And there is not one number. Well, no mechanical... hang on, the level, whatever. Don't catch me in a minutia. There is no ability score, no ability modifier, no proficiency bonus. This character sheet is blank. We do not have spells for our wizard, and wizards are all about the spells. And yet, I argue that we have a character at this point in time. Everything else is filling in details. So, I mean, let's do that. Let's go to Chapter 2 races and go to Tiefling. Alright, intelligence increases by 1, and charisma increases by 2. We already have our age alignment. We're a medium-sized creature. Our speed is 30 feet. 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. We do get 60 feet of dark vision. We have resistance to fire damage, and what I love, I'm going to zoom in on this. What I love about this sheet, immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities, and so I'm going to fill in a resistance to fire. Just like that. Let's move this over. Infernal Legacy. So we know, I'm gonna label that here, IL, Infernal Legacy. We know the Hellish, or not Hellish, Thaumaturgy. I mean, we know Hellish Rebuke, but Thaumaturgy. Then we get Hellish Rebuke and Darkness. And those are level 2 spells. So IL, well, I'm sorry. Hellish Rebuke is 1. It's cast as 2, so I'm going to put it in 2. IL and IL. This way we know what our source is. We get Hellish Rebuke and Darkness. And these are based off of Charisma, if it ever comes up. And this is once per day. And so, I mean, if you want to say instead, this is 1/long rest. 1/long rest. Okay. Cold Spark, the sheet I used before the one that you see here is a pinned message in Table Talk that you can download. Though this is not, I have not opened this up for public use. All right, what else? Languages. Common. Infernal. Oh, too far. There we go. And there we go. That's our Tiefling. There's nothing necessarily about the racial part. I mean, we could discuss it. We could look at elements and whatnot. But do you know how much... We spent much more time on the background than just applying what every Tiefling gets. Next up, we are going to build our... We're going to build our monk first. Very quiet. Asriel, welcome. Asriel, you missed opening a Nightvale Spectre, however, there's a brand new brick of Ravnica if you wanted to bust into it to try and get one of your own. Otherwise, you can contact, oh, I can't see the box. Otherwise, you can contact the person who pulled it. Was it Fallon? I'd have to double check. If you wanted a Nightvale Spectre. Or Shukan. I don't know if Shukan's still here. Shukan has one. I don't know if he's willing to come off it, though. And also, at 9 months, check it out. Not only do we have a stream baby, Asriel, you get that nice pitcher of tea to cool off from all that incremental salsa before you hit that 12-month mark, and you get a nice spicy red. Very detailed. I agree, Jorian. You can be super detailed about that stuff. All right, we're building. So actually, here we're gonna go monk class and monk archetype, wizard class, and wizard archetype. Or if you want to call it subclass, that's fine too. In 11th, well, we're a 17th level character. Your proficiency is based on your total levels, not just your classes. So we have a +6 proficiency bonus. However, as an 11th level monk, well, really, we're looking at, boop, this stuff right here. Our martial arts is a D8. We are going to get 11 key points. And we're going to get 20 feet of unarmored movement. So that brings us up to 50, 25, and 25. Critry, or Critry? Please tell me how to pronounce that. Thank you very much for the follow. No, Asriel, when I said that, I'm not trying to force you to buy anything or that I expect it from you. I know you're hunting for that piece, and I wanted you to be aware of options that you have. You are absolutely not obligated to get anything. Crit. Okay. I shall... You just want me to say crit? Or is it just crit or critry? Or critter? You could be a critter. Any known tabletop simulator-based campaigns looking to start up? A local game group is probably not an option. You could check our looking for group section on our Discord, Maladroit. Pneumonica, I don't know if you're still around, but I know that you use Tabletop Simulator, and if you are in any groups that you know are running on Tabletop Simulator, that you could maybe forward to Maladroit. All right. What I like about this sheet also, check it out. It's good for multi-classing. So our druid, our monk part here is a D8 hit die, and we get 11 D8 because we have 11 levels of monk. We're going to get no armor proficiencies. We're going to get simple weapons and short swords. Let's see, a type of artisan tools or a musical instrument. We're a Blackmailer. An Astral monk and a wizard, specifically a Necromancer. Interesting. I mean, instruments can be very handy. You could do a lot with them that are creative and roleplay oriented. We're good with a gaming set, thieves tools. You know what? Let's give this person, let's give this person, we're going to go to chapter 5 real quick and take a look at the different artisan tools available. We can always randomly roll it, too. Ifins we want. Alchemist supplies could be something, right? If you're trying to mix concoctions and whatnot. Brewer supplies, calligrapher supplies, carpenter's tools, cartographers, cobblers, cook's utensils, glass blowers tools, jeweler's tools, leather workers, masons, painter, potter, smith, tinker, weaver. Oh, you know what? Always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. I blow up at the slightest insult. Chains are meant to be broken. I'll become the greatest thief. I have a tell that reveals when I'm lying. What about painter's supplies? And he uses the painter's supplies to map out. I mean, there's cartographer's tools. That's mapping on a geographic level. What if we gave him painter's supplies to back up some of his qualities here, to have a plan? So he draws, he sketches a lot. He might even sketch people, but maybe he never lets him see that. Especially with the blackmail. Maybe he sketches, a certain scene he witnessed. Or he sketches or paints a particular object that he's holding on to until it can be redeemed for the evidence later. Does that sound good? Calligrapher. So calligrapher is writing. Writing isn't necessarily bad to give him, Jorian. And yeah, we do have that option, Jorian. I don't want to say that you can't. Though sticking with what is presented, but thinking laterally with it, I think we can have some fun. Disguise, yes. Though that is... Again, talk to your DM. Your DM may very well allow this. A disguise kit technically isn't an artisan tool. And we're looking to slot an artisan tool onto the character. But yes, I would agree in this case. You might say, as a blackmailer, DM, can I take a disguise kit instead? And your DM might say, absolutely. I don't care. Go ahead. Yeah, why not ask? What are you out? A breath in asking the question? Your DM might say, tell you what, give up thieves' tools and I'll let you replace it with a disguise kit. Okay, so you bargain. Absolutely. You could be the same with weaver's set or wood carving, weave small tapestries of info, or carve events. So it'd be the same forgery kits and all that. They're not They're not artisan's tools? So it's up to your dungeon master. They're not bad ideas. Absolutely not a bad idea at all. But you got to talk to your dungeon master about that. All right, Donnie. Thanks for hanging out tonight. All right, now let's go back to the monk. Strength and dexterity are going to be our saving throw proficiencies. And we get to choose 2 skills from acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. If we're, well, we already have stealth and deception from being a criminal. Let's see, I blow up, always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. That's really lending myself to acrobatics and athletics, because we're extremely adaptable on how to get out of there if we need to. And as well, you know, I'll become the greatest thief that has ever lived. The tell could very well be a physical tell. If we're thinking about something, we're thinking about gripping something and our hands go like this. So I could see this character having acrobatics and athletics. History, maybe we learn that because if we want to be the greatest thief, we had to study other capers in the past. But he doesn't, I don't know, nothing about him seems to be really strong with history. Insight, not too much of a people person, in my opinion. You can make a case for it otherwise. And we already have stealth and religion. I think acrobatics and athletics is going to be the way forward. Yeah, there's alternatives for that, Jorian. Your dungeon master might say differently. Might say, well, you already have stealth, and I'm not going to let you automatically pick stealth again, and you have to choose something different. You might have someone say, yeah, if stealth is offered to you by your background and your class, I'll give you expertise. You can double your proficiency. You might be able to bargain, as Jorian said, and say, well, can I lose a skill and gain disguise kit proficiency? And your dungeon master may very well say yes. Insight is more of an emotional read. So it could, in a social situation, cold spark. But we have someone who does work with people, but sort of works against them. We have more of a physical person, I think. He talks to people by hand, says Azrael. I would have to double check on that, Jorian. I am not familiar offhand. Perception is sight, sound, smell. It's your senses. Insight is more reading body language, social cues, that sort of a thing. And investigation is your ability to put things together in your head. Clues. It's sort of like the Sherlock Holmes, breaking down the fight, examining stuff in his head, and then boom, everything goes back. Perception is always good. We don't get it from being a monk. And that being said, too, because perception is always good, I don't want to always put perception on the characters we make. Kind of like the lucky feat. Every character could have the lucky feat. Mechanically, it's really good. Anyone could be lucky. And so I try and avoid that common anyone can do it, because we're not making an anyone, we're making a someone. It could be, yeah. There's nothing wrong if we put an 8 in strength, there's nothing wrong with taking athletics. if we put an 8 in strength, or let's say you have a really low intelligence, but you're good at history. It just means you're good at that one thing. You studied history, but you don't have a broad knowledge of everything else in the world. All right, so we are going to get some things here. We are going to get unarmored defense. We are going to get key, which is going to do 4 things for us. We are going to get unarmored movement is already reflected. Deflect missiles, which I think we can deflect magic missiles. I'll have to double check the arms ability. Slow fall. Extra attack. Key empowered strikes. That's fine. It's magical strikes. Evasion. Ooh, very good. Stillness of mind. And purity of body. This is Flurry of Blows. Step of the Wind. Well, I think I have it out of order, but still. Patient Defense. And Stunning Strike. We're not high enough to get Tongue of Sun and Moon. So now what we're going to do is come back over here to the Unearthed Arcana Way of Astral Self. And we are going to give ourselves, in the monk archetype, scoot this over. You're not going to see me type it out, but that's fine because this is the full description here. We are going to get Arms of the Astral Self. You can spend 2 key points to summon your arms. Use your wisdom modifier. So it has these abilities. We reviewed the abilities in the last one. It's up here for you all to consider. If you do not have this already, and you would like it, you can download it for free right here. We are at 6th level. We're going to get Visage of the Astral Self. You have advantage on insight and intimidation checks, and you can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. Ooh! And then at 11th level, because we're an 11th level monk, we get Awakening of the persona. Pokemon. Astral Self. You tap into greater power. You have both your astral arms and visage summoned. You get the following benefits. When you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or force damage, you can use your reaction to deflect it. When you do so, the damage you take is reduced by 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier. So if someone shoots magic missiles at you, your magical arms that are floating by your shoulders just do like a strike stopper, and they catch the magic missile and, and deflect them away. Empowered arms. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a target with your astral arms, you can deal extra damage equal to your martial arts die. And Word of the Spirit. When you speak through your visage, you can direct your words to a creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you, making it so only that creature can hear you. Alternatively, you can amplify your voice so that all creatures within 600 feet can hear you. Oh, well, all right, Jorian. Thank you for lingering. And complete astral self we'll never see, but that's fine. That is fine. So we've built the monk portion. Now, we get to have fun and multi-class. Being a wizard, we get no proficiencies. And so really, all we're doing is we're just getting 6 levels of wizard spell slots and all the wizard stuff that you get. Nice and easy. However, to multi-class, we have to make sure that we have at least a dex and wisdom of 13 as well as an intelligence of 13. That is a prerequisite. So, we are now just going to flip back to wizard. Boop, 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 boop. And we're going to tack on 6 levels of wizard. So here we go. We are going to know 4 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one was Infernal Legacy. Thaumaturgy. Spell slots, 433. Yes, Big Sam. As the Astral Monk, a representation of your inner key forms from your body. And it can look like whatever you and your DM want it to look like. We are getting 6 levels of Wizard, and Wizards are D6 hit die. And so over here... Here, I'll zoom in. 1, 2, 3. And... Oh, I zoomed in too far, apparently. Come on. Over here, we get 6 D6 hit die from our multi-class. 1, 2, 3. Alright. We do not get any proficiencies for being a wizard. You don't get any of this stuff right here. Proficiencies out the window. You get the hit die, and then you get the other stuff. That's not equipment. I'm talking to your DM. You get this stuff. You get the cantrips and ritual and all that. As per the wizard class, then, we get Arcane Recovery. And I will let you read this stuff. This is basic player's handbook stuff. I'm going to list this down, but Arcane Recovery itself isn't necessarily going to be a defining feature of the character, who he is, what he does with his life, etc. But there is not going to be another... we don't get Spell Mastery till 18th level, so that's what we get from our Wizard class. Now, our Wizard Archetype is going to give us a couple things. In the School of Necromancy, we are a Necromancy Savant. And we also have Grim Harvest. At 2nd level, you gain the ability to reap life energy from creatures you kill with your spells. Once per turn, when you kill 1 or more creatures with a spell of 1st level or higher, you regain hit points equal to twice the spell's level, or 3 times its level if the spell belongs to the School of Necromancy. You don't gain this benefit for killing constructs or undead. While this seems very straightforward, in playtest material, especially when you can deal necrotic damage from your magically summoned hands, in an interaction like this, you might need to sit down with your dungeon master and clarify if you killed someone with your monk stuff, is that a spell? You know, as it's written here, I mean, your Hellish Rebuke, you could harvest someone with your Hellish Rebuke. You know, key points in their use isn't technically spell casting. It does produce a magical effect, but it's not the same as casting a spell. So in this interaction, I would urge that you talk to your dungeon master about this and see if she or he would allow you to use Grim Harvest with all of your crazy arm shenanigans as you turn into Mecha Shiva. If any of you get the reference, then congratulations. No, I understand, Jorian. This is simply a pause the conversation and enforce communication with the dungeon master. Exactly, Shukan. Yep, the Venture Brothers. You got it. You got it. So, Grim Harvest, Undead Thralls. Because we're 6th level, and hey, we just got this. At 6th level, you add the Animate Dead spell to your spellbook if it's not there already. When you cast Animate Dead, you can target one additional corpse or pile of bones, creating another zombie or skeleton as appropriate. Whenever you create an undead using Necromancy, it has the following benefits. So, there it is. Undead Thralls. Excellent. Kit, you are the Oh no! You're gonna have to make that decision. Now, I as Jorian pointed out, it does seem rather clear-cut. Just because you deal necrotic damage with your JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stand doesn't, and you kill someone, doesn't mean it was a necrotic spell. You may have someone bring it up, or with the other conversations where we've had about communicating with your DM. These are all things to think about. Yep, you get it anyway. Absolutely, Jorian. Ooh, a bowl of ice cream. Oh, what flavor? Hopefully it's Moose Tracks. And so, from here, if we're talking about... let's see. Well, you know what? Before we get to magic is the last thing we'll do. We need to drop the standard array. We have the chassis of the character in place. It's time to put the engine in it to help us deliver the mechanics to the story. Oh, it's a vanilla? Vanilla's honorable. I would say... what if we did a 15 wisdom, 14 dex, 13 intelligence, 12 charisma, 10 constitution, and 8 strength. Or, dare we put 8 in constitution instead? I could see this happening. He's unlocking this this inner key and this ability to reap life from other people through spells and abilities. Did that shatter his health? What if we do this? Let's give him an 8 in Constitution and a 10 in Strength. Now, if we do this, that's going to bring our Intelligence to 14 and our Charisma to 14. And we get... well, we get 3 ability score improvements. As we get a 4 and an 8 from Monk, and a 4 from Wizard. So we get to add 6 points. We get to add 6 points to this character. If you're ever faced with floating 1 point, watch, I'll show you here. Let's bring Wisdom up to 16. Let's drop a spare point in Strength. You will always get a mechanical benefit from your Strength score with the amount you can push, pull, drag, lift, etc. So you don't have to worry about always having to get the next modifier off of it. I really think we can just we could ramp up wisdom to 20 with our remaining 4 points. Unless we want to go maybe 18 and 16. And we're just a big old smarty pants. Oh, thank you, Shukan. I mean, it's possible, Big Sam. Though we would have to know that we are getting into... There's a little bit of a give and a take. Our character it might not be in the personality, but let's say, you know, our character takes enough yoga lessons in the monastery to be able to qualify, you know, minimum monk, basic, you know, you pass. Though we really tried to just study stuff. We're a generalist student, and we're just very keen on observing things. And so when we look at strength and dexterity, we were never necessarily the most physical, so we had to super specialize in it to try and make up for the fact that we're not the best in that regard. So we can look at that a couple different ways, Big Sam. Almonds instead. I have some yogurt covered almonds. 0, 2, -1, 3, 4, 2. Daily Tai Chi. There you go, Azrael. So, strength is going to be 6. Athletics is 6. Dexterity is 9s, except for sleight of hand, which is still pretty good. Constitution -1. So we're going to have to rely on spells like Vampiric Touch and other that will give us some hit points back. Intelligence down the line, we're generally smart. We're not a specialist in something, but we know a little about a lot. And we're also rather wise to the ways of the world. Again, not as a... We take it all in. We try to understand everything equally. You know, per our monk instruction and the kind of yin-yang of life and death that necromancy might also help reinforce. Charisma is 2 down the line, except deception, which is going to be 8. Our passive perception is 14, since our modifier is 4 in perception. You add 10 to that. Armor class, if we are unarmored, that is going to be a 17 armor class. Not too bad for a wizard that doesn't have mage armor, huh? Not yet, anyway. You could take mage armor. Initiative is a +3. And he has earned a name. If you have a name for him, he's no longer a pile of stats. Now, when you're doing hit points with a multi-class character, you only get that full hit die of hit points once at first level. In this case, we're building a monk first, adding on wizard later. So that's going to be 8 plus... We have 10 more levels of monk, so 11 levels total. So that's 10 levels times half plus 1 of 8 is 5. Plus all 6 levels of wizard at half plus 1, which is 4. And then every level, all 17, we get bonus hit points. Well, bonus is a generous term in this regard. Bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. So we're actually, with this math and how to calculate our hit points, we are subtracting 17 at the end. So we have 50 plus 24. So we have 74. We have 82 minus 17. So we have 72 minus 7. We have 65 hit points at level 17. All right, Hark, thanks for hanging out with us. Donnie, welcome back. Yeah, we're smart enough to know what we don't know. There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and then there are the unknown unknowns. Arabic for many limbs. So, Kthyr, Atrafuh? Sure, we can go with that. Con dump stat. You got it, Donnie. We're a necromancer. We're also someone who is very difficult to try and actually touch. If we're shrewd about employing our key points, a monk is a very survivable class. I mean, we're a glass cannon, absolutely, but we're a cannon all the same. A Knightian uncertainty. I'm not sure I get the reference then, New Monica. Unless you want to change it somehow, Jorian. You're welcome to offer something. Yeah, if they can't hit you, absolutely. And so our spell suite would help reinforce that. All right. Now, if we have two saves, the first is going to be saving against our key effects, which is going to be based off of wisdom. And so that's proficiency plus wisdom, so that's 10 plus 8. So it's 18 for our key. However, for our wizard spells, that's going to be one less. That's 17. And if we're attacking with our spells, because our key is delivered off of our off of a physical delivery, just our spells is going to be a +9 to hit if we do so. And now we come down here. Spellcasting ability is intelligence. Dun, dun, dun. Wizard. Spells prepared equals your wizard level 6 plus your intelligence modifier. So we can prepare 9 spells off of our list. And we have slots for, was it 3 cantrips? Wait, I had 4 up there. Consult the book. To the book, everyone, to the book. At level 6, we have 4 cantrips, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we had 4, 3, 3 for spell slots. And if you go here to where it says, dun, 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 your spell book, you get 6 first level spells of your choice. Every level thereafter, you get 2 for free. But of course, you can write all the spells you want in your book if you find them. So, level 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we get these at level 2. You can take, at level 3, you can take second level spells now. But if you want to distribute them back to level 1, you're welcome to do so. But if we write it out that you are getting the spells as you can fill it in, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of all these spells, we can prepare 9. Dun, 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 dun. Then we just bring the numbers over here. We had key points equal to 11. And our saves were 18, 17, and then a +9. 18/17 and a +9. And everyone, besides picking the spells, which obviously we can do, you know, at level 3 here, we actually get that free Animate Dead. Or this was called Undead Thralls. Is where we're getting that. It's not off of level 6. It's its own separate thing. A book has a spine, so you can backstab it, says Azrael. A Nightian uncertainty, unquantified risk. Not only do you not know if it will happen, you don't know its likelihood. It's an unknown unknown. Thank you for clarifying that, Pneumonica. And so here you go, everyone. Here's our other character. Absolutely a mind-provoking backstory. You know, someone who wants to be the best criminal, possibly by blackmailing other criminals. This is truly the most dangerous game. And, you know, it'll be up to us now when we discuss. Sorry, my English is failing because it's 4:04 a.m. And now in the past 48 hours, I've had 4 hours of sleep. Oh no, Fubar. I hope nothing bad happened to get that name. But welcome. Thank you for the follow. Alright, have a good night, Donnie. I'm going to be wrapping stuff up here shortly as well. Yeah, 4:04, English not found. Oh, I hope it was a good breakfast, Jorian. So we have a very compelling character that can have a fun backstory. And what was, I guess, again, it writes itself. We have, through nothing more than random number generation, a cohesive group that itself has a story behind them, let alone whatever adventure that we would set them upon. And so part of the fun here is deciding based on everything above, his behavior, his mentality, right? About planning for what to do when things go wrong. You're probably going to take the Find Trap spell. You're probably going to take things along those lines. And we have a decent intelligence if we want attack spells, but maybe his spells are more for support, which can include bringing corpses back from the dead as support. I mean, and of course in battle, because you want to try and avoid battle if possible. We're a very mental stat monk and wizard, which works out very well actually, because of the arms being controlled off of wisdom. We can afford to be a little weaker. Oh, banana. All right, so banana pancakes. That sounds really good, Jorian. So, Azrael, that doesn't mean you don't eat them, though. You did not mention that part. So is that a warning? Yeah, banana pancakes are good stuff. So yeah, like, especially with picking out the spells, this wizard won't necessarily have the standard outlay of, yeah, I'm going to take a bunch of attack spells and all this. I think the very crafty use of spells would make this a very scary character, especially if it enhances the monk abilities. And of course, we ask, you know, when did we start weaving these together? You know, when did we start weaving wizard in here? Was it at 3rd level, at 4th level? That's a lot more advanced stuff. It'll take, you know, you could sit down for hours and weave that together if you really wanted to. But for purposes of the workshop, we have a character. We have a character, we have a story, we have a party now that we're going to take a bird's eye view of the party tomorrow night and show you why having a party with overlap such as it existed. I was only counting on race and, or not race, class and subclass. And yet we also have some racial overlay and a background overlapping as well. And this is going to make an extra fun part of showing how you can have a functional party that's like this. All right, everyone, you know what? I think it is time for me to hit that old dusty trail. Let me double check real quick how many capsules I have pulled in case anyone wants to do any last minute stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18 capsules have been pulled, which means that I will not be resetting the capsules for tomorrow if no more capsules are pulled. So it's up to you all, because I refill capsules if 20 or more have been depleted between sessions, between workshops. Crepes are very good, Azrael. Otherwise, we are going to go raid Mr. Wolfie, who popped in here to say hi. And in fact... Oh, you know what? We've raided Mr. Wolfie. Well, wait. I raided Goblin Cave, but I haven't raided Mr. Wolfie since Goblin Cave. And so I would owe another raid back to Goblin Cave after this. So yes, let's go play some Minecraft with Mr. Wolfie, who is hunting dragons and searching for treasure. Mr. Wolfie... Uh-oh. Alright, so it looks like I'm gonna... Shukan, you're gonna force me to refill the capsules back up to 50, but that's fine. I have fun doing it. I love balancing it out, and you know what that means? Another big prize, or like 2 large medium prizes, are gonna be put in there because that $40 one was pulled. So, Shukan, you tell me when to stop. And stop. We have a red capsule with a piece of paper inside of it. Oh my goodness. And so, Shukan, this is what you have in the capsule. You get 2 Cambion Devils and 2 Imps. Channeling your inner kobold there, Shukan. Nomming the paper. 2 Cambion Devils and 2 Imps. So if you've ever I know you said you don't necessarily like fiends, but if you've ever wanted your own diabolical hit squad here, or some fun familiars, this capsule held 4 figures inside of it. And I need to put your name beside that. Shukan. Alright, there we go. Alright, Shukan. Here's your other pull. Well, you sent a pit fiend over to Donnie. Stop. Alright. You sent a pit fiend over to Donnie, and that's a big devil. And so if you want to give him a devil squad, you could include the Cambions and the Imps in on it too. Alright, what is in this red capsule? Not a piece of paper. There's a figure inside. Or should I say, there are 2 figures inside, Shukan. And I hope that you like short stacks, because we have a gnome wizard and a halfling rogue. A gnome wizard and a halfling rogue. Well, you like kobolds. Kobolds are short stacks also. Alright, does anyone else want to pull? I'm already going to refresh. And so, if you want to go for the $40 prize goblin, if you want to go for any other big stuff, then there are 30 gotchas of the 50 that are down in there. This would be an opportunity for you. You want to give the fiends to Donnie? Okay, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I am going to fill that in. Or replace the name for when I pull that stuff. There we go. Joran, that's fair for as much as I was chiding Black Wolf earlier. All right. Oh, Black Wolf is still up. Shoot, Constant, go to sleep. Oh gosh, you all are too much. All right, let's go raid Mr. Wolfie. I think he switched from Minecraft, but you know what? He's a member of the community, and I support people in my community. If I see you streaming and I can give you a raid, I want to be as fair as possible. Let's go see what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing, because maybe I could refer people to you. It's good networking, it's good business, and it's just good for the social community that we have. So, everyone, you don't need a passport. We're going to go to England, all right? We're going to fly. Well, some of you might not have to fly too far. We're going to fly to England. We're going to play a game with Mr. Wolfie Emfer. He can talk about D&D. He can certainly talk about minis. He could talk about all sorts of stuff as a dungeon master or a player alike. So we can nerd out. He may be playing Tom Clancy, but we can still talk about the D's and the D's with him. Oh, thank you, Azrael. Your discretion is appreciated. But yeah, let's bring up Mr. Wolfie, and if I am in Ad Purgatory? No, we just load right in.
JT, the level 1 JT.
Oh, that's him.
Roll them
okay. Shh. You ready? We're gonna
force him to play Rook and Thermite every game.
Let's go surprise him as he's loading in. Ready? Here we go. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Until he's level 100. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
You're only allowed to play those two characters until level 100, and then you can